Hey everyone, welcome to Red Fox Sewing and Crafting, and welcome to my craft room. I'm Joanna. So today is going to be a little different. I have a project ready, but I do not have the mock-up made. I will be making this with you, and you only need 8.5 by 11 sheets. I made it for the basic 8.5 by 11, not 12 by 12s. If you have 12 by 12s, it will work too. I just had some 8.5 by 11s laying around, so I thought I'd use them. So to start out, you will need a 6.5 by 9.5, or I have here two 6.5 by 5s. Either one will work. So if you're going to be using the 6.5 by 9.5, you are going to score at 4.5 and 5. If you're going to use 2 sheets like me, you want the and for the if you're using the 6.5 by 9.5 inch piece, you want the 9.5 at the top, and you want to score at 4.5 and 5. If you're going the route I'm going, you want the 5 inches at the top, and we're just going to score at 4.5 on both pieces. And I'm using heavyweight cardstock for this part. So like 100-pound cardstock for this part, and then about an 80 weight for the inside parts. So we're just going to fold and burnish on our score marks that we made. And for those of you doing the way I'm doing it, you just want to glue your 2 1/2-inch tabs together, but you don't want to miter them because that's going to be your spine. Just going to add a little bit of score tape to strengthen it a little bit. And I'm going to grab my glue and add a little bit on my score tape, and then just let me do it this way. Maybe this way is probably better. You just want to make sure that you don't go over your score mark. So just like that. So now we have a 4.5 by 6.5 booklet with a 1/2-inch spine. Our next pieces, we will need 3 pieces that are 6 by 8.5, and 2 pieces that are 4.5 by 9.5. So we're going to start with our 4.5 by 9.5, and you want the 9.5 at the top. And we're going to score at 1/2 inch, 3/4, and 7. And we're going to do that with both pieces. So again, that's 1/2, 3/4, oops, and 7. With the 3 6 by 8.5s, you want the 8.5 at the top, and we're going to score at 1/2 inch and at 4.5. And we're going to do that to all 3 pieces. So before I add my pieces to the inside of my little booklet, I'm going to add some seam binding here. And I'm just going to measure out 2 pieces that are 12 inches. So one piece and 2 pieces. And I'm just going to add them to either long side of 1/2 of my booklet. So I'm gonna grab some score tape here. If you don't want to add seam binding to your little booklet, you can use magnets or Velcro. I just don't have any magnets at the moment, so I am just going with what I have, which is seam binding. And it'll look really nice with the paper I'm using. So you can make your album however you want. You can use seam binding, you can use magnets, you can use Velcro, you can add seam binding to the outside if you wanted, which I'm not doing today, but if you want to do that, you can. Just make it however looks good to you. I'm just going to add this to the center of my piece here. I'm going to add a couple more pieces of score tape. And here's our base. Now we're going to add the 2, before we add them, we need 2 fold-over pieces. Hush, Coda. So with the 4.5 by 9.5s, we are just going to fold our tab and our gusset here, and then you want to fold the 2.5 piece into, so then it'll look like this. So we're going to do that with the other one. And then we will add these to our booklet. And also miter your 1/2" tab. Don't miter your 1/4" gusset though. You want to leave that intact. So there's that. Now we're going to add them to our little booklet. I'm going to add some score tape to my 2 tabs here. And we're adding these to the top and bottom of this side. So we're just going to line this up with the top and the outer edge of the booklet, and you want to make sure to not go over your score line, just like this. And then once you fold it in, or fold it closed, it should look like this. So now we can add our second flap. And we're just sticking down the 1/2" tab. You want to leave the 1/4" gusset free. Okay, so we have our flaps here. Now we need to cover the inside of the booklet with pattern paper. So I think I'm going to do this piece. So I like to cut my pieces an 1/8" smaller than what the space is measured at, if that makes any sense. So this space, this part right here, is 4.5 by 6.5. So I need to cut this at 4 3/8 by 6 3/8. And if you are using directional paper, if you're using directional paper, you want to decide Now, whether you want your accordion fold to be on the left and your waterfall to be on the right, or if you want a waterfall to be on the left and accordion fold to be on the right. I'm going to have my accordion fold be on the left. So I need to put my paper this way on here. So I'm just going to remove the backings off of my score tape. Make sure to get the ribbon out of the way. And now we can glue our pattern paper on. So now our booklet is ready for when our accordion fold is made. So we're going to set this off to the side and work on the 3 6 by 8.5 inch pieces that we scored. So we are going to fold and burnish again on all of our score marks. And you want them to go in opposite directions. Like this. I'm going to do that to all 3 pieces. And now we just need to miter the 1/2 inch tabs that we created. And now we can assemble our accordion fold. I am going to, again, be adding score tape to my tabs here really quick. Okay, so we're going to start with 1, and you want to take off, if you're using score tape, take off the backing, and then we're going to add a little bit of glue the tab as well. And then you want to grab another one of your little accordion fold pieces. And you want to make sure that the tab is facing up like this with the large score mark going down like this. And then you want to attach your tab here with your glue on the back side like so. You want to get it as close to even as possible. Might not totally be even, but just do your best. So it will look like this. Your tab is right here. It's making another, it's making an M. It's making an M. So now we take this tab from our second piece, and we are going to add glue to it and do the same thing with attaching it to our third piece. Getting it as close to centered as possible. And your accordion fold will now look like this. So your first accordion piece is right here, tab is here. Second accordion piece is right here, tab is here. And then your third accordion piece is right here, and we have a free tab here. And this tab is what we're going to attach. Is how we are going to attach it to our little booklet. And you want to add your accordion with the tab on the outside side. So for me, that's going to be on this side. If you're going to be doing it on the right side, you want to do it, you want to put your tab on this side. So I have my tab here, and I'm going to put it down and center my accordion fold as best as I can. And once I'm happy with it, I can just stick it down. And if you want to cover this with another piece of pattern paper, you can. I don't really mind it, so I'm just going to leave it. And this is your first side, all done. So now we can just close this up and tie this closed to keep everything inside, like so. All nice and pretty. And now we get to work on the second side. For the second side, you will need one piece that is 5 by 6.5, one that is 4.5 by 5, and then you want 6 pieces that are 3.5 by 4. And we are going to start with the 4.5 by 5 and the 5 by 6.5. Five by 6.5. You want the 6.5 at the top, and we are going to score at 1/2 inch and at 3/4. 4.5 by 5. with the 5 at the top, we're going to score again at 1/2 inch and at 3/4. So we're just going to fold and burnish our 2 flaps here. Making sure that the tab and gusset are as straight as you can make them. Okay, now we just need to miter our corners. And I'm going to, again, add my trusty square tape on my tabs. If you don't have score tape or you don't like using score tape, that is perfectly fine. Use whatever you feel most comfortable using. Before we add our flaps, I'm going to add more ribbon, or more seam binding. So I'm going to, again, measure 2 12-inch pieces of my seam binding. And grab some more score tape. And once I put my seam binding on, then I will come back and we can put the flaps on. Real quick, I told you wrong on the 6.5 by 5-inch flap. Your 4.5 by 5-inch flap is fine. It's a 6.5 by 5-inch flap that needs to be fixed. 5 at the top. You want to score at 1/2 inch and 3/4. I have my ribbon on the second side of my booklet here, and now we can add our flaps. I'm going to start with my 6.5 by 5-inch flap, and that's going to go on the outer edge of my booklet. So you want to put your flap on this side, making sure to line everything up as usual. As best as you can. Then it looks like this. On the second side, we're going to add our 4.5 by 5-inch flap, and I'm going to be using a ruler for this because you want to do your best to get it centered. So I'm just going to kind of prop my ruler on the score line here. best as I can. Actually, let me open this side. That might help a little bit. There. So this is 4.5. We have a 6.5 inch page. So it's going to be 1 inch on either side. And you want to make sure to not get it over the score line. And then you can just stick it down. And now we have our two little waterfall flaps. So I'm going to close the accordion side back up really quick. And again, oops, we need to add pattern paper to this before we add our waterfall pieces. So I already have another piece cut out. Going to take my score tape backing off really quick, and we can add pattern paper on. Just like so. There. Our pattern paper is on, and it's ready for our waterfall pieces. Gonna set this off to the side and work on them right now. We again have 6 3.5 by 4 inch pieces, and we want the 3.5 at the top. And we're going to score all 6 at 1/2 inch so that we have 6 3 by 4 waterfall pieces. And these you're going to leave the way they are. You are not mitering them because the tabs are going to be shown. So all you want to do is fold and burnish on the score marks that we just made. All 6 pieces. I got all of my waterfall pieces scored and prepped, and now it is time to put them on our booklet. So I'm just lining up my ruler with the top of my page here, my booklet side. And the spacing is 1 inch at the top and bottom. No, it's 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch at the top and bottom. And 1/4 inch on the sides. So I'm just going to line on my ruler and then just place it 1/4 inch at either end, just like so. And now it's just a matter of laying up the next piece underneath the tab of the previous piece. I'm going to flip this around to make it easier for myself. And that's all we're doing. Just putting our waterfall on here. And this is a really nice, like, project you can use scraps with if you have any paper scraps, because this is a really small project and it will take you probably like 1/2 hour to an hour to make. Really quick thing. And it's far enough away from Christmas that if you wanted to, you can make a bunch of these and give them away to all your friends and family. I think it would be really cute to give out as gifts. There we go. Waterfall is all done. So now, large flap, smaller flap, and we can tie this off, closed, and that is a quick little booklet that you can make. I hope you enjoyed making this with me. If you did, click the like button down below. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. And if you are interested in seeing me make anything, if you want to learn how to do something, let me know in the comments and I will try to come up with something to show you guys in the future. I will see you next time. Bye!